We've got the sun, we've got the heat, we've got the humidity, we've got the thunderstorms, we've got the localized flash flooding, all the summer-like weather that we love here in the UK, and that is the case across many areas of Western Europe at this moment in time. Thanks for clicking on to the Thursday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. If you're enjoying the content here on the channel, you know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a comment, and also hit that subscribe button as well. It would be greatly appreciated. Obviously, looking at the bigger picture, building the story through the course of last week about the Magellan Oscillation moving eastwards into the Pacific, and as it does so, it creates that Rossby wave break scenario across the Pacific, across the Atlantic. That's been pulling the ridge out of the southeast of Europe, west, northwest. All the while we've had low pressure moving in towards the west of the UK and Ireland. That is creating that sandwich effect, and we've got heat and humidity at low levels. We've got the warm, dry air, the textbook, Spanish plume lifting up, actually originating in northwestern Africa, but over the Iberian Plateau and then across the French land area as well. And we've been seeing, obviously, low pressure and associated frontal systems moving their way east, northeast, and creating all sorts of active weather. So this is the current view of the ICON model today. Overview, precip, cloud, temperature, and pressure. You can see here that we've got some fairly gusty winds. We've got a squeeze in the isobars over the eastern and northern portions of the British Isles. So we've actually got a bit of a cool but thundery west, but also cool, breezy east of the UK with a sandwich of warmth in between. So if you look at the latest radar imagery here, we've got some very heavy thundery downpours taking place at the moment across parts of Wales. There was the case across more southern England earlier on, but that system is now lifting northwards here, affecting Wales, affecting parts of Ireland and Northern Ireland. But further east and north, it's largely high and dry. But with a stiff wind coming in off the North Sea, it is pegging the temperatures back. If you notice here, these are the current temperatures according to MeteoSeal. We've only got 14 Celsius on the Aberdeenshire coast, along the Northumberland coast, down towards Yorkshire. Again, only 16s and 17s thanks to that stiff easterly breeze. But we are seeing warmer conditions across the southeast of the British Isles. We've probably scraped a 27, possibly a 28 somewhere in the southeast this afternoon. But the reasons why we've got the warmer temperatures across the southeast despite a brisk east-southeasterly wind is we've got some very warm air over the near continent. Now, we've seen the core of the heat transfer out of Spain, where we had 42.9 Celsius during the course of the weekend. Then we've seen the core of the heat lift into southwestern France yesterday, 38 Celsius. And then we're seeing that warmth and the core of that warmth northeastern Spain. We've got 34, 35 Celsius eastern portions of France, and also up into the Benelux region. We've got temperatures around 29 to 31 Celsius at the moment. But that warmth is getting kind of drawn out of the near continent over that short gap of within the land. Obviously, water temperatures are obviously taking a little bit of an edge off that heat off the continent. But generally speaking, the air mass has a very short distance to cover over that water. So therefore, we've got some warmer temperatures across the southeast. And again, we're also seeing warmest temperatures through the central swathe of England, southwestern Scotland, but also the north of Scotland as well. I think here at Vogan Weather HQ, the temperatures have reached the warmest levels of the year so far. We may edge slightly up in that tomorrow, I'm not sure, before we start cooling things down. But this is the temperatures here across Europe. And you can see here that we've got some reasonably hot conditions, for sure, across central France. Temperatures as high as 33 Celsius by the looks of it. We've got around 30 in Belgium. Let's have a quick look at the Low Countries and see exactly what the temperatures are at the moment. So we're talking generally 30, 31 Celsius at the moment here. I can't see a 32, but there probably will be somewhere. Has 32, possibly 33 Celsius in Belgium. We've got a 28, 29 Celsius in the far south of the Netherlands as well. And Yes, it is pretty warm out there for sure. Looking at the latest radar imagery then, and you can see that the circulation here driving weather systems northeastwards into that very humid, warm environment. That is creating, of course, enhanced lift, that trigger, and we are seeing some very significant thunderstorms indeed. We're going to see a secondary frontal system. It's actually here. You can see it on the visible satellite imagery, just closest to the circulation itself. So one arm or branch of the frontal system is moving across the UK through the course of today. That is going to probably turn into, once we start to lose the daytime heating, probably going to start to see those thunderstorms lose a little bit of oomph. It'll become more of a kind of steady, persistent rain through the overnight tonight, lifting northwards across Scotland. And then the next batch moves through. We'll get another tongue of dry air, pushes out of France into the southern half of the UK. That will heat up temperatures 28, 29, 20, probably 30 Celsius in the southeast of the UK. Then that next boundary moves through, and them thunderstorms will erupt in a more explosive way, potentially, than what we've seen even through the course of today. Looking at what has taken place in, this was Plymouth a little earlier today. So again, localised flash flooding. So where you get these showers, you will know all about it. Localised flash flooding is definitely going to be a thing with these storms. This was the scene, by the way, in parts of Spain back yesterday, or it might have been actually the day before. Check this out. So look at the hail deposits, incredible stuff. So this was in parts of Spain. That is absolutely incredible. The amount of hail that's fallen from these storms. So yes, we're seeing significant localized flash flooding anywhere from Spain, France, Ireland, UK over the next few days, and then there will be fresh air moves in. So let's play through the icon model then. You can see here that the first branch of storms peter out, turns into a more steady rain, if that, as we progress through the rest of today. And then we're going to see another batch of storms move northwards as we reinforce that tongue of heat coming out of Spain and France through the course of tomorrow. And then that will bodily lift northwards as well as we progress through the overnight and into Saturday morning. The icon model kind of has that feature running a little bit slower than other model runs. So and you can see here thunderstorms across parts of the continent as well. Looking at the 850s, then you can see here that we have some very significant weather to speak about across the continent due to very warm air and frontal systems that are edging in associated with that area of low pressure. They will be spreading eastwards as we progress through the course of the weekend. But these 850 temperatures plus 20 Celsius at 5,000 feet, reaching all the way up into Denmark, creates a very, very volatile and very unstable environment indeed. So these scenes coming out of Plymouth, parts of Spain, probably parts of France as well through the course of today, that will get replicated as we progress throughout the way through the weekend here, as cooler air bumps into that hot, humid air across the continent here. Cape values will be very significant. Look at this here. This is the Cape values. This is cumulative convective available potential energy, and you can just see here this tongue of very hot air getting lifted up through the western mainland of Europe. Heat, humidity, and frontal systems is going to create some very significant thunderstorms. I'm going to see if there's anything of Estofx in terms of warnings. It's not showing anything. Funny enough, I'm surprised at that, but that will certainly be the case. Level 2, level 3 thunderstorms across parts of Western Europe, I think, as we progress through the course of this weekend. Looking at the Cape values then through the course of tomorrow then, and is it showing anything? It's showing a lot of high Cape values across the near continent, not so much over the UK, which is quite interesting. And then look at this over the Benelux region as well. We've got those bright reds and pinks showing high volatility within the atmosphere. Looking at the 850s then, and you can see here that we are going to see that cooler air getting transferred across the UK and Ireland as we progress through the course of the weekend. And then we've got warmer air trying to lift back north again, I think, as we progress through next week here. So we could see more significant warmth. In fact, we could see a lot warmer conditions later next week as opposed to what we're seeing. Probably a saving grace, to be honest with you, that we've got this area of low pressure that is kind of meeting this warmth as it lifts north over the UK. Yes, we're seeing some very explosive thunderstorms, downpours, etc. But had this low been further west, this warmer air would have been lifting north with more sunshine and much hotter temperatures as a result of that. So in some respects, it's a saving grace that we've got that low pretty close by. We may not be so lucky next week if you don't like heat. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and I'll try and respond to as many as I possibly can. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday and take care. Bye-bye.